Hello everyone, this is Ubaid Khan and you are watching Elite Edu World. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates of our channel, and please do share with your friends, relatives, and especially for students, because our channel having a lot of educational videos. Okay, so let's move towards today's topic.
So already we have started chapter number 6, that name is tissue. So this is going to be a third lesson or third lesson for our this chapter. So what we have studied already, that we have started this chapter and we have seen what is mean by the tissue. We have just taken enough introduction about what is mean by the tissue, and then we have already reached up to several points. Then definition of the tissue we have already seen. Then plant cell and animal cell, what are the differences between the plant cell and animal cell, that is also we have seen in our previous lectures. Then we have seen an activity which is showing what is the meristematic tissue, where it is present. So actually we have seen in the classification, first of all, the meristematic tissues are there, which is present onto the tip of the plant especially, or the most growing, it is a actively growing tissues are there. So which is on the location wise, we have seen apical meristem, we have seen different types like apical meristem, we have seen intracleary meristem and lateral meristem on the basis of their location, right? So and after that we have seen the second type, that is permanent tissue. First type we have seen meristematic tissue, the most dividing tissue we can say, actively dividing, to it is required for the growth of the plant. And then we have started the permanent tissue. So actually the permanent tissue also after multiply or after meristematic tissue, after having enough growth of the plant, this is only the tissue which is just converted into the permanent tissue. And permanent tissue is also having two types we have seen before, that simple permanent and complex permanent. So why it is called simple permanent? Because all the tissues they made by a same type of the cell, that is why it is called a simple permanent tissue. And we have seen a different type of this simple permanent tissue already. So here this is the three type of the simple permanent tissue we have seen with the diagram also. Here is the name of the simple permanent tissue, like number one type of the permanent tissue, that is parenchyma, we have seen already. So parenchyma is a number one type of simple permanent tissue. Then second type we have seen collenchyma, this is the second type of the permanent tissue. And the third we have seen sclerenchyma. So these are the three type of the permanent tissue, and which is called a simple permanent, because all the cells are same in the, all same cells are come together and they have made the tissues. And we have seen differences between these all the locations, what are the functioning of this all. So we have finished this topic in our previous chapter. So and finally we have just reached up to here, that regarding number third one, that is a sclerenchyma. And we have seen sclerenchyma is the tissue which is present or which is providing the hardness to the plant, or whatever the plant's part are there. Like we have seen the example of husk of coconut, right? And that is a very thick tissues are there because of the lining. Because of this lining, it is the lining is a chemical substance which is act as a cement and harden them. So that is why it is giving the hard or hardness to the part of the plant that is present into the walls. So thick are there and no internal spaces are there, and it is present in the stem, around the vascular bundles, in the veins of the leaves. So these are going to be the location, veins of the leaves, and in the hard covering of seeds, like we have seen the seed cores are there of the nuts. So it is providing the hardness. So that is why it is having the very providing the strength to the plant parts. So that so that is number third type we have seen already. So now we will just start with the next session, that is with the activity we will actually start. So what is this activity actually? In that you have to take a fresh leaf of royo and stretch and break it by applying a pressure. And why we have to break it? Because after breaking a little bit you have to be gently stretch the leaves, so some peel skin will be seen here. So we have to take remove that peel of the skin or peel of a leaf. So why we need this peel? Because we have to observe in the microscope what are the cells are there or which arrangements are there. So remove these peels and put into the petri dish filled with water. So this is going to be a third step. We are just keeping into the petri dish contained with the water, and then add a few drop of saffronin. Here the saffronin is a indicator which is giving the color to the cells of the plant. So we have adding the saffronin to providing the coloring agent, and wait for a couple of minutes and then transfer it into the slide. Then this material, whatever the peels we have taken from the seed leaf from the leaf, that will transfer into the slide, because we have to see into the microscope, right? Because it is very tiny cells are there, very small structures, so we have to see into the microscope, and gently place a cover slip on it, as we have seen already before. That is, cover slip is there to just protect the material, whatever the materials we are using, it is providing the protection. And then finally we have to observe under the microscope. So when you are observing into the microscope, what you will see, a very small cells are there or cells arrangements are there. So this is the two images are there in the figure, that two number one, that is in A, that is a lateral view of guard cell and epidermal cell. So we are going to be see two kind of the cell, one is guard cell and one is epidermal cell. So in figure A, that is a lateral view, and figure B, that is providing the surface view. So this both the kind of the views we will see here. So how it is look like and how it can be seen into the microscope. So as per them we will just decide how the different cells are there. So number one, it is if you are talking about a guard cell, so here it is present, it is showing the guard cell, and this is will be going to be a lateral view. And when we are going to be other view, so it is providing here, that is epidermal cell, and this is stomata. So we will talk in detail. First of all, we will see the points what is given here. So we have to discuss about two images. So what we observe is outermost layering of the cells called epidermis. So here what it is called epidermis, this is the outermost layer. So this is going to be a cells which is making the epidermis, and epidermis is the outermost layer for the plant. So what is the function of this epidermis? It is made up of a single layer of cell, and in some plants it is living in a very dry habitat. So normally the epidermis, they are made by the single layer of the cell, but when we are talking about the plant which is living into the very dry habitat, so there is a scarcity of the water. So in that conditions, the plant epidermis may be thicker, since the protection against the water loss is critical. So they want to protect the water loss. That is why this epidermis becoming thicker into the plant which is living into the dry places, and the entire surface of the plant has this outer covering of epidermis. So whatever the plant surfaces are there, all the part of the plant, they are just covered with the epidermis only. So it protects all the parts of the plant. It is the function of epidermal cell to provide the protection, because it is the outermost layer. An epidermal cell on an aerial part of the plant often secrete a wax or water resistance layer onto the outer surface. So when the cells of this epidermis which is providing or which is present into the aerial part, what is mean by the aerial part? The part which is present into the air. So that is why it is having the waxy resistance, water resistance layers are there. So this is aids the protection against the loss of water. This is also action. The reason is to stop the water loss. That is why it is having the waxy layer or secrete the waxy or water resistance layer. So mechanical, also providing the mechanical injury, right? So this is also protection also providing. First, it is just stopping the loss of water, because the plant is present into the dry places, a scarcity of the water is there. Second, mechanical injuries also prevented by this invasion by parasite or fungi. Some attack of the fungi and parasite also protected by this layer. So since it has a protective role to play, so in short we can say this layer, that is called epidermis, which is playing a protection or protective layer, a protective role to play. Cells of epidermal tissue form a continuous layer without interspaces. So that is why all the layers of the epidermis, they are just providing, they are making layer by layer and without any spaces are, so there is no intercellular spaces are there between this all the layer of the cells, and most epidermal cells are relatively flat. So as per their requirement, they are having the flat cells. So that is why all the cells that is present into the epidermis cell, that is a flat, and often their outer and the side walls are thicker than other interwalls. So here this is the arrangement how it is going to be looked, and we can observe the small pores here, and there is in the epidermis of the leaf. So when you see this slide one more time, first of all we have just discussed about this epidermal cell here. These are the epidermal cell, but these are the tiny holes are there. So that is called stomata, right? And what is the function of stomata, that already we have discussed in our previous classes. That is, it is helping into the exchange of gases, like plant need a carbon dioxide for breathing, so for making the food like photosynthesis. It is also need the oxygen for respiration. So all the exchange of gases will be happen after through the stomata. Then it is also providing a space for the transpiration, the water loss. So this is called the stomata. So that is mentioned here. So what we can be see into the outer part of this, that is called a stomata. So we can observe the small pores here, that is epidermis leaf. This is pores is called stomata. So that is we have seen in this figure already. The name is stomata. So what are the function? The stomata are enclosed by the two kidney shaped cells called guard cell. Now what is a guard cell? As we have seen stomata, that is the two cells, they are just covering to this stomata, and it is a shape like kidney shape, and there is we can see one more time here. So this is actually the cells which is called guard cell. This guard cell structure is look like kidney. This two kidney shaped guard cell which is preventing or which is covering to the stomata, and with the help of this guard cell, the stomata can be closed and open whenever it is required. When it doesn't require, it can be closed, and when it is required, it can be open. So the necessity of this, why it is necessary to exchange of gases with the atmosphere, and the second one is transpiration and loss of water in the form of water vapor, and also takes place through the stomata. So the stomata is doing the two important functioning. One, it is just needed for the exchange of gases from the atmosphere. Second thing, it is also important in the transpiration, that is water loss in the form of water vapor. So both the things can be takes place through the stomata only. That is why the stomata is very important into the plant, and it is present into the aerial view or aerial side. So think about which gases may be required for photosynthesis. So which gas is required for the photosynthesis? That is CO2. So that CO2 will be taken through the stomata only. And find out the role of transpiration in plant. So what is the role of transpiration into the plant? The transpiration is a process in which the plant will evaporate the water in the form of water vapor. And what is the advantage to the plant with the help of this? It will make the water pool. What is mean by the water pool? Whenever or whatever the amount of the water will be evaporate from the stomata, that much amount of the water will be just coming inside through the roots. So that is why it is providing a suction effect. So water is going to be sucked, and it is helping into the providing the water to all part of the plant. So that is why it is transpiration also helping to the plant to take inside the water, more and more water, and it is outside, it is helping to maintain the, also helping into the water cycle and maintaining the temperature around the plant. So these are the advantages. And epidermis cells of the roots, when we are talking about the epidermis that are present into the roots, because everywhere there is epidermis, it is outermost covering of the plant. So when we are talking about the epidermis cells into the roots, so whose function is to absorb the water, but commonly it is bearing the long hair like parts, that is greatly increase the total absorption surface area. So when we are talking about the roots, they are having a very small attachment, that is called hair like projections. So why there is a need of this hair like parts, that is providing a more area, surface area, to absorb the more and more water, right? So in some plants like desert plants, the epidermis has a thick waxy coating of cutin, that is a chemical substance which with the waterproof quality on its outer surface. Can we think why there is a reason? So why there is a reason of this waxy coating? Because once it is also helping into the absorption of the water, and it is present onto the roots. So and is the outer layer of the branch of a tree different from the outer layer of the young stem? So there is a question is mentioned here, the outer layer of the branch of the tree. When we are looking the branch of the tree, it is already well developed, so whether it is different from the young stem? So yes, because young stem having a growing tissues are there, and then once it is completely growth, it is just converted into the permanent tissue. So that is why they are very different. So that is why it is mentioned here, as a plants grow older, when it is growing older and older, so outermost protective tissue undergoes certain changes. So that protective tissue is going to be the change, a stripe of the secondary meristematic, because before it was a meristem tissue, meristematic tissue. So secondary meristem replaced with the epidermis of the stem, because epidermis is the outermost layer of the plant. So whenever it is just growing, so epidermis just convert into, or the meristematic secondary meristem, it is just convert into the epidermis of the stem. So that is why it is having a different structure or shape. So cells on the outside are cut off from the layer, and this is from the several layers, and this thick cork of the bark of the tree. So here how the bark of the tree will make, because once the meristematic tissue has complete the growth of the plant, so it is just it is just converted into the permanent tissue, or into the epidermis, and it is making the layers and making the bark of a tree. So cells of the cork are dead and compactly arranged without intracellular space. So because it is not needed any further more growth, so that is why most of the cells of the cork, they are dead cells, because to save the energy and water, and they are arranged very compactly. There is no intracellular spaces. Why? Because they need a protection. So that is why there is no intracellular spaces are there, and they also have a chemical called suberin, and in which their walls, inside their walls, that makes them impervious to gases and water. So because of this chemical, it is making the layer of the bark of the tree impervious for the gases and water. So these are the functioning of this cells we have seen. Here we are looking the figure of protective tissue, that is cork cell, and in the top we have seen here a ruptured epidermis. So whenever it is just rupture the epidermis, they are having several layers are there, and inside it is having the cork cell. So it is very compactly packed together. These are the arrangement of the cells we can be see in this diagram. So this is all we have talked about the simple permanent tissue, because it is made by the same type of the tissues. So now we will just start with the complex permanent tissue. So in the simple permanent tissue, already we have seen different types, and where is the location of that, and what are the function of that, and why it is called a simple permanent, because it is made by the same type of the cell. So now we will talk about the complex permanent tissue. As in the classification, this is second type of permanent tissue only. But why it is called complex permanent tissue? Because the tissues of this complex permanent, they are made by a different type of the cell. As in the simple permanent tissue, it is made by the same kind of the cell, but in complex permanent it is made by the different kind of the cell. So different types of the tissues we have discussed until now are made up of the same type of the cell, that is called a simple permanent tissue. This was The very first type we have seen, simple permanent, already we have finished this. Now we'll start the another type, that is called a permanent tissue, but it is a complex type of the tissue. Why it is called complex? Because they are made by more than one type of the cell. This is the reason, because they are made by more than one type of the cell. That is why it is called a complex. More than one type of the cells are there to make this. So all these cells coordinate to perform a common function. Now we are telling it is having the more than one type of cell. So all different cells, they are just coordinate to perform a common function. They are working together to perform a simple or one function. That is why it is called a complex type of the tissue. And what are the example of the complex type of the tissue? That is number 1 xylem and number 2 is phloem. So these are the examples of the complex type of the tissue, as we have discussed before in our lower classes also. What is xylem, what is phloem? The function of the xylem to provide the water from the roots of the plant to up to tip of the plant. So that is the function of xylem. We have already seen the function of phloem, that is providing the food from leaves to all part of the plant, because it is made into the leaf but it is required to all part of the plants. So they are the example of complex tissues, and they are both conducting tissue. Why it is called conducting? Because it is just helping into the means transportation of the material. So they both are the conducting tissue and constitute a vascular bundle. And vascular or conductive tissue is distinct feature of a complex plants. It is the distinct and very important feature of the complex plant. Whenever we are talking about the complex plant, they are having this conductive tissue, and that is why it is called a complex plant. So one that has made possible their survival in the terrestrial environment. So terrestrial environment, it is very important thing. These two tissues are there. So with the help of these two tissues only, the plant can be survive into the terrestrial environment. So as we can be see in figure 6.3, so this is going to be a figure 6.3, or in our last page we have seen already. So in that figure, that is showing a section of stem, as we have seen in before. So in that section of the stem, we have seen a different type of the cell in the vascular bundle. So already we have seen a different type of the cell there, like xylem, phloem, and so many type of the cell we have seen in our 6.3 figure, that is we have discussed already. So first of all we will start with xylem. So xylem consists of what are the tissues are there, which is or different cells are there in the xylem. So here the consist of tracheids, vessels, and xylem parenchyma, as you can see in the figure 6.7. So this is the figure 6.7. Here we can be see how the xylem is made by. It is made by the tracheids, it is made by the vessels, and it is made by the xylem parenchyma. So we will see the function of this all the three cells. So these are the different three type of the cell which come together and it will make the xylem tissue. So the very first function of the cell have a thick wall. These cells have the thick walls, and many of them are dead cells. So in the xylem, the tissues or the cells, they are having a very thick cellular wall, and most of the cells of the xylem, they are dead cell. Why? Because it is just need to transport the water. Tracheids and vessels are tubular in structure. As we see in this tracheids and vessels, so these both are the tubular in the structure, because it transporting the water, it will make the water pull. So they are tubular in the structure, and they are very thick wall, dead cells, and these allow them to transport the water and minerals vertically. So the function of the xylem is to provide the water. That is why they are having the cells like tubular structure. So they are helping the transportation of the water and minerals vertical from down to up in one direction. So xylem tissue can be provide the water into only one direction, that is vertical, from roots to tip of the plant, from down to up. The parenchyma store the food and helps in the sideways conduction of water. So this is the third one, that is parenchyma. So they are storing some food for the tissues, and they are just helping into the sideways conduction of water. and fibers are mainly supportive in the functions. Lastly, we have seen the fibers is also there, so they are mainly just supportive into the function. They doesn't having another function, they are just supporting to the xylem tissue. So that is all about the xylem, which is helping to transport the water and which is having the different cells are there. So that is why it is called a complex permanent tissue, because it is made by a different kind of the cells. Here we can see the three kind of the cell: tracheids, vessels. They both are the tubular in the structure, helping to the transport of the water. Xylem parenchyma, storing the food, and sideways regulation of the water. Now we will start the phloem. So what is the function of phloem? To transport the food from leaves to another part of the plant, from green to non-green part of the plant, because food already made into the leaves only, because leaves can be do the photosynthesis only. So the food will be produced into the leaf. So it should be transport from leaves to another part of the plant with the help of phloem. So this is the function of phloem. The phloem is made up of four types of the elements. Number one, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma, as we can see in the figure 6.7 here. So this is 6.7 showing the section of phloem. So in that we can be see here sieve plates, which can be also said the sieve tubes. Sieve plates, sieve tubes, and phloem parenchyma and companion cell. So these are made with this four type of the cell, and that is why it is called a complex type of the cell. So now what are the function of this all the cells? We can be see one by one. Number one, the function of sieve tubes are tubular cells with a perforated walls. So these sieve tubes, they are also in the form of tubular. So as you can see the sieve tubes here, the sieve tubes also showing the tubular form. So this mention here sieve tubes. So sieve tubes is tubular in the form, and phloem is unlike xylem in the material can move in the both direction. So here the difference between xylem and phloem you can be understand. Xylem can be transport the water only into the vertical direction, only one direction, but phloem can be transport the material into both the direction. So because from one direction to another direction, in all the direction, phloem can be provide the food to each and every part of the plant. So that is also one of the difference between xylem and phloem. Now the phloem transport the food from leaves to another part of the plant. Already we have discussed this because the food will be made into the leaves only, and it should be transported to all part of the plants. So except for phloem fibers, phloem cells are living cells. So here if you will just accept the phloem fibers, because the fibers are just only for protection or protective part. Other cells in the phloem, they are living cells. Because why there is need of living cell? Because they need to be transport the material or food from one part of the plant to another part of the plant. That is why they need a active cells or living cells. So as you can also see this diagram, which is showing the diagram of xylem and phloem. Xylem also you can see there are so many sieve tubes are there, which is helping into the water movement, and phloem, that is a tissue that can be do the movement into the both the direction, vertical and horizontal, both the direction can be move the food. So these are the some points we have seen for xylem and phloem, and what are the function of xylem and what are the function of phloem we have already seen. So here we have finished our topic, that is a plant tissue. So whatever the points we have discussed up to here, that is related to the plant tissue only, that is meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. We have seen permanent tissues two types we have already seen, that is simple permanent and complex permanent. So the remaining part, that is now will start with the animal tissue. Up to here we have finished the plant tissue. So in our next lecture we will start the topic, that is animal tissue. What is animal tissue? What are the type of animal tissue? So many points are there, we will discuss in our next lecture. So after that, just go to this all the points we have seen and remind one more time, and see you in the next lecture. Take care.